First stop is a favorite for any 3D printer and its owner, Thingiverse. There, I'll look for one of the best designers in the HO world, kabrumble. You can find his work linked in the comments below. The man is an absolute genius and his work is second to none. We're going to search for his Main Street series, and where better to start than Main Street 1. After selecting the building, we'll scroll down and find the Sketchup file and download it to the desktop. Now let's open Sketchup and import the file. Here you can see the final look of the building, complete with window frames, glass, rooftop extras, and even the gutters. All of these need to go. I'll select all of the glass and frames by using the select tool and control-click to highlight each window and then delete them from the model. Do it around all four walls, don't forget the doors and the recessed entryway windows, and we're on our way to having a nice shell that our printer can work with. I'll also remove the roof and the equipment on the top, and the downspout and gutter from the back. Finally, I'll cut out the floor, and our building is ready to send to the printer. For now, let's download the shell as an STL file and ship it off to Cura for slicing. Here in Cura, we'll import our STL file, and have to shrink it way down to fit. After some quick measurements, the length of the building in HO scale is roughly 117 millimeters. I'll make sure the dimensions stay in proportion by clicking on Uniform Scaling, and that will make things a lot more manageable. I'll center the model on the 3D printer bed and adjust the settings before slicing. I'll enhance the detail to 0.1 millimeter per layer, drop the hot end temperature to 190, which is the bottom end of the manufacturer's recommended limit. This produces more of a matte finish in the PLA, making it easier to film and easier to paint. I'll also up the print bed temp to 65 Celsius to ensure a solid bond and print on an 8-layer brim to make sure the narrow first layer has a nice footing. Now to slice it, producing a G-code file. Once it's sliced, we'll save it to the desktop and jump into Octoprint. I'll preheat the printer to PLA defaults, and while it's heating up, I'll upload the G-code file to Octoprint. We'll click print and let the printer do its work over the next 22 hours. A full day plus later, we'll pull the print off the bed, and yeah, there's a very small amount of stringing and a bit of distortion and layering in the front of the building. This building was used as a test run with 0.2 millimeter layers, 200 degrees Celsius hot end, and 60 degrees Celsius print bed. That model came out nearly identical, but there were no visible stringing. I'll see what settings can be changed to produce better prints in the future. It might come down to ambient air temperature and humidity in the PLA itself. Lucky for us, kabrumble has provided an STL file containing just the windows and door frames. He's also got STL files for the gutters and rooftop equipment. I'll load those into Cura and print them off as one print. I'll finish the 3D printing with the base of the building and the roof as one final print, and we're ready to go. We'll move into the paint booth and spray the entire building using acrylic paint in this custom color that was contracted out to my wife, because I can't understand color theory to save my life. Surprisingly, I didn't need a primer for this building. I find that most of the time I don't need a primer, except when using yellow paint. Same brand, same consistency, same roll of PLA. For some reason, yellow just won't stick, even with a primer. Anyway, after thinning the paint and loading into the airbrush, I'll spray 2 coats at 20 psi, leaving about 30 minutes dry time between each coat. highlight the mortar between the joints, I'll mix a ridiculously thinned down white paint and just let it soak over the walls. Then I'll go over it lightly with a paper towel, leaving behind the white slurry between the miniature bricks. I'd love to give credit to whoever I got this idea from, but it's been so long and I've seen so many modelers do it, I think it counts as public domain at this point. To paint the concrete trim and the details around the building, my paint contractor, my wife, recommended a black matte finish. I know my place, so I do as I'm told. After taping everything off, I spray one last line of brick color overlapping the tape edge to avoid paint bleeding under the tape. Again, credit to whoever I first saw do this technique, but I have no idea who it was. Now I'll go over the exterior crown molding of the building, the windowsills, the front details with black acrylic paint, full strength using a small wedge brush, per my wife's orders.
I'm just trying to give you something. I'm just trying to give you something spooky to forget. I'm just trying to give you something.
Assembly will start with gluing the window frames and doors into place. I used a strip of clear box tape for the window glass. When I first started using this technique, I was worried about dust onto the tape and the windows looking dirty. Then I realized, yeah, it's an exterior window. They get dirty.